She was warned. She was given an explanation. Nevertheless, she persisted.
Well, the feminists got themselves a brand new rallying cry.
Hillary Clinton tweeting, "She persisted, so must we all."
That hashtag "she persisted" is now becoming a rallying cry.
The war on everyone's favorite British homo continues.
Democrats are the party of Lena Dunham. These people are mental, hideous people.
And fun fact, the term shit end of the stick was first used at all-male orgies in ancient Greece.
Yeah. The last participant to finish was assigned the responsibility of washing fecal matter off of everyone else's penis before the group retired to the banquet hall to enjoy a post-orgy buffet.
This man was said to have gotten the shit end of the stick. In modern times, the saying has been adapted to refer to a person who has drawn an unlucky lot in life. No time for lube, we're going in dry.
Go home, jerk off, and that's all you gonna...
The Savage Sacktap starts now.
You're listening to the Savage Sacktap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sacktap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Guttentag, boys and girls, and welcome to another episode of the Savage Sacktap. I need to do some podcasting. I got a lot of steam to blow off. I was having a perfectly good morning. I went down to the ShopRite in Hoboken here to pick up a steak for dinner. Get myself a nice T-bone. Yeah, I figure if I start eating enough T-bone steaks, people will eventually nickname me T-bone.
T-bone! 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 T-bone!
Anyway, I decided to give it the old surf and turf treatment. You know, maybe grab some sushi as well. Oh, yes, very good. American man like a sushi and a steak, a surf and a turf. Is that how the Japanese sound? I lived there for a year and a half, I should know. Anyway, they make the sushi fresh in the store. So it's grocery store sushi, but why the fuck not? Get myself a nice roll. Anyway, I get over to the sushi, and it's in one of those, you know, those low open-top refrigeration units? You know the ones, and you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I get over there, and there's some fucking guy sitting on the edge of the refrigeration unit. His ass was hovering inches above a tray full of edamame, and it comes in, you know, those flimsy grocery store sushi containers? So there's scant protection against this guy's farts. And by the way, this was not some well-proportioned, showered, shaved underwear model who, you know, you figure they fart and the worst-case scenario is that it smells like mint bananka from the guy who tossed his salad before brunch. No, sir. This guy was fucking George R.R. Martin without the money. He just an obese, slothful, farting, disgusting dude, like Michael Moore almost, wearing a ratty pair of Saturday morning sweatpants that somebody's embarrassing father would have on at Little League practice, and fucking farting all over everyone's edamame. Absolutely nauseating. But you're not allowed to, you can't say anything about that kind of shit anymore because it's fat shaming, and people will record you and put it on the internet, and you get fired from your job when it goes viral because everyone's a fucking asshole these days. I guess I record my fat shaming on my own. I haven't gotten fired yet. I probably should. Anyway, I grabbed a rainbow roll and walked away. But really, what a fucking day ruiner. I am absolutely disgusted by society. Everyone is losing their fucking minds now, by the way. The usual culprits, celebrities and college students, they've been having a hell of a fucking February. We'll have bullshit and shenanigans from them, and of course, our favorite lib cunt to hate, Lena Dunham, coming up in a little bit, and then I'll answer voicemails. We have a voicemail line now. I'll give the number out in a little bit, and we will take a little peek at the uproar surrounding cock-loving and shit-stirring provocateur Milo Yiannopoulos. But first, if you're not already doing so, please check us out on Facebook at www.facebook.com/thesavagecrew. On Twitter, you can find me at Mike Montone. On Instagram, search The Savage Crew and click on the avatar of Patrick Bateman. And just give me a sec. I'll pull up the voicemail number in case you want to blow up the line. Alrighto, here it is. 201-632-1372. Actually got a few messages. We'll be going over those later in the episode. Got some good calls from some listeners. And pretty much if you call in, I'll use it as long as it's nice, fucked up, and interesting. and we're cool about anonymity. So, feel free to go off the fucking shit and use a fake name. Just call in, say, hey, this is Carl or this is James. I want to talk about whatever, and give me the subject, and I'll give you an answer. You ask your questions, you're gonna get them answered by the Savage Sacktap. So call up. I don't have an outgoing message on there, so it's just gonna be one of those very generic leave a message after the beep things, in case you were expecting to hear my voice on the other end. You won't yet. I'll eventually get something set up when I'm done being fucking lazy. But anyway, please do give that a call. Love including you guys in the content, because you guys are a bunch of sick fucks, and I appreciate that you listen to this show. Anyway, before we get started, quick word from a charity that is quite near and dear to our hearts. We've been working with them for a couple months now, and then we'll get going. Here you go. Every year, millions of men around the world reach full sexual maturity with a penis that's less than 4 inches long.
In my village, for a boy to become a man, he must first perform the long Dixu mating dance. When my friends removed their loincloths, they were long like the giraffe, but I was short like the meerkat.
Now, Cocks of Love is giving those men a second chance, but we need your help.
All of the girls laugh and laugh at me like a pack of hyenas.
For just 25 cents a day, that's the cost of a gumball. You can adopt one of these men and help them afford the surgically enhanced genitals they so desperately need.
Now, the women of my village stalk me like poachers. It is said that my tusk is worth more than all of the diamonds in Sierra Leone.
Thanks to the donations we've already received, Cocks of Love has been able to give scores of men a new lease on life. In addition to the satisfaction of helping a less endowed man get the penis he's always wanted, Cocks of Love will provide you with regular updates on the status of your adopted cock.
I was once the laughing stock of my tribe. Thanks to Cocks of Love, I am the new king of the jungle.
So what are you waiting for? Dial 1-800-BIG-COCK today. That's 1-800-BIG-COCK. Or visit www.cocksoflove.com and adopt a cock today. Cocks of Love, coming up big for the little guys.
Christ, an African. Who would have thought? I guess we really are helping men around the world. I did see a black dude buying regular-sized condoms once, and I felt absolutely fucking terrible for him. The playing field was leveled mightily that day, my friends. He was a tall motherfucker, too. I wonder if he also sucked at basketball. Poor bastard. This was out on Okinawa, where, by the way, all of the local little Japanese women down there on Oki love dark meat. They are fucking into the brothers. So that motherfucker must have been privy to some very, very disappointed looks from petite Asian girls. So if you think about it, those girls really don't move off the island, right? Unless they marry some guy. So you go through on a 18, 24-month tour down there, and then you leave. They're dating the next soul brother who rolls through, slinging the old Alabama black snake, as they say in Full Metal Jacket.
Come on, she love you good. Boom, boom, long time.
So they have, in their day, those little fucking petite Asian chicks have seen some monster dongs, right? The just pure mathematical odds say that those chicks have seen some fucking pole in their day, like just fucking thick, veiny, black wieners. So you figure they come across a tall gentleman of color, and he's not packing a fucking Louisville Slugger. They are going to be they are going to be severely disappointed. Oh, sumimasen. Oh, so small. So why so small? Yeah, Asian chicks will fucking roast you about your dick size too. They'll just fucking go up, buy me drinky girls in Thailand, will go up to dudes that they're drinking with at the bar and fucking pinch them by the dick and show, like, how much width they got when they grabbed it, and they just giggle in your face. Oh, man. Fucking giggling Asian chicks. Anyway, yeah. Tall black dude buying regular-sized condoms. It's going to cost him thousands in cash and therapy hours someday. Ugh.
All right, so as I said before, the agenda for today is pretty much just to bash on liberals because they're silly and ridiculous. I bash on conservatives a pretty fair amount too, but right now the libbies just have it coming, and the audience demands it, of course. So here we go.
All right, this is from Refinery29. They're like a BuzzFeed style website where they just all they do is post social justice-y bullshit. Here's the name of the article. This yogini is tackling period shame. Christ of fuck. Okay. It's a video and an article. I'm going to read through a bit of the video. A bit of the article. I haven't had coffee today because I had a fucking stomach virus this week, so, whatchamacallit, I might be a tad out of sorts. Women constantly get the message that our periods are gross, weird, inappropriate, and other terrible things, and it's our job to keep them under wraps. Well, yeah, because there's fucking blood pouring out of your vagina. Maybe that's why people think periods are weird and gross. That's a guess. That if I was gonna start somewhere, I wanted to figure out why people thought fucking periods are weird and gross. I would probably start with the part where blood pours out of someone's vagina. Ugh. This week, yoga instructor Steph Gongora, known on Instagram as Casa Colibri, is saying nope. Oh, by the way, shitty millennial bloggers always use the word nope. They all use the same language. It's the same fucking... if you really want to get a good handle on it, go over Mashable, probably one of the douchiest fucking Facebook pages on the entire internet. Go check out theirs. The language they use to describe things, it just makes you want to fucking... You want to go to their editorial. You want to pull a fucking Charlie Hebdo. It makes those guys look like fucking heroes. If they were to do that at like BuzzFeed or something like that, fucking assholes. Anyway, Gongora posted an Instagram video in which she moves through a gorgeous yoga flow, including handstands, arm balances, and a full Hanumanasana. I don't fucking know. And she wears white pants. Now, as a young gymnast, she faced crippling anxiety when she had to practice during her period. That's a reasonable thing to have anxiety about. That's not one of those things where we should be saying, don't you worry, honey, it's just a little blood pouring out of your pussy and onto the floor. Like, it's blood pouring out of your pussy. Like, stuff that thing up. Get the fuck out of here. If I was walking around with like a fucking erection poking out through my gym shorts, people would be going ballistic. If I had a shit stain down the crack of my khakis, people would be like, you should change. No one wants to see that. This is fucking absurd. Anyway, now as a yoga instructor, she still gets worried about springing a leak during class, and she started to ask herself, why do we care? She decided to film herself bleeding during her yoga practice, making a statement and kickstarting a crucial conversation in one fell swoop. That's the thing. She didn't kickstart a fucking conversation. She just, you know what she kickstarted a conversation about? She kickstarted a fucking conversation about how people who do fucking yoga and make videos of themselves fucking bleeding from their vagina through white pants are fucking dickheads, all right? This is the most fucking absurd thing ever. I haven't even started the fucking video yet, and I'm already fucking furious. Periods deserve to be shamed because of this. Let's watch it. Here we go. She's got a fat little ass, I will say that. I'm not gonna lie, this song bangs. But she's fucking, okay, there, you can see the period again. Well, why don't you just wear black pants the day you have your period, and then you wear a tampon and a pad, and problem solved. Chick's flexible as fuck. Is it still going? Alright, it's enough of that. Here's the rest of this fucking article. I knew a bright red blood spot on pristine white pants would make a statement in a society that rarely takes time to actually read. Leaks are such a typical occurrence for me, and something I believe women shouldn't have to be ashamed of. Where is I'm sure as fuck there isn't period shame. It's just being grossed out by blood coming out of someone's fucking vagina. And this is, you fucking feminists, they turn everything into a fucking issue. And with these fucking periods and tampons, no one fucking cares, alright? That's your problem. Alright? If a guy can't get his dick hard, he's still gotta go out and get fucking ED pills. I hope they go covered by insurance. I gotta cover the whole fucking thing. You just start fucking... Have you ever bought razors, by the way? Razors cost like $20 for a 4-pack. So basically you were paying at least $20 a month for razors. And if you're a dude who has to shave every day, probably more. And then you know what happened? A man went out and created the fucking Dollar Shave Club, and now you can get razors for jack shit cheap. So, you know what? You want to close the fucking wage gap, ladies? You want to make tampons cheaper? Invent fucking Dollar Tampon Club. How has this not happened yet? This is absurd. For all this bullshit I hear about how women are gonna take the lead. We need a woman in charge. Yeah? No fucking Dollar Tampon Club yet, bitches?
Jesus Christ, fucking period shaming. Everything is some kind of ridiculous cause with liberals. It's fucking irritating. You know, the other day, my father actually tried to convince me that Hillary Clinton lost the election because of sexism. He's wrong, of course. She didn't lose because of sexism. She lost because a bunch of Budweiser-chugging good old boys finally figured out the internet, saw shit like that, and said, oh, fuck no, we're not doing another 4 years of this shit. Come on, boys, let's get them. And get them they did, by voting for Orange Donald. Right? That's how the right gets you. They win elections. The left gets you in other ways. Basically by being just a huge fucking pain in the ass. It doesn't accomplish anything, but they are fucking annoying. I got a few videos here. It's the one I teased earlier of Elizabeth Warren and a few others. So let's take a gander, shall we?
Okay, so as I said before, Mitch McConnell kind of fucking served Elizabeth Warren. Unrepentant douchebag, Mitch McConnell, by the way. Honestly, I'm just ripping this shit because my newsfeed right after this happened was just filled with hashtag she persisted. Fucking. Everything's got to be a fucking cause. Isn't the definition of equality the fact that Elizabeth Warren was standing on the Senate floor and got straight up served by a dude as though she were another dude? I feel like that's it, right? Everyone knows McConnell's a dick. It's not like he's nice to everyone else until a woman walks in. Then he turns into a stone cold prick. Nah, the guy's just a fucking douche. Anyway, here's Mitch fucking handing it to her. God damn it. Fucking phone. Here we go.
Mr. President.
They are.
Mr. President.
The majority leader.
The senators impugn the motives and conduct of our colleague from Alabama. Senator Warren, quote, said Senator Sessions has used the awesome power of his office to chill the free exercise of the vote.
Whenever McConnell speaks, it sounds like he just had a stroke.
I call the senator to order under the provisions of Rule 19.
Mr. President.
Senator from Massachusetts.
Mr. President, I am surprised that the words of Coretta Scott King are not suitable for debate in the United States Senate.
She's not wrong.
I ask leave of the Senate to continue my remarks.
It was also Black History Month, by the way.
Object.
I appeal the ruling.
Objection is heard. The senator will take her seat.
Sit down, bitch.
I appeal the ruling of the chair, and I suggest the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
All right, maybe I gotta find. When does he fucking say she persisted? You would think that they would put that in the fucking video. Nevertheless, she persisted. I think I know where it is. 1 second. Nevertheless, she persisted. Nevertheless, she persisted.
She was warned.
Here we go.
She was given an explanation. Nevertheless, she persisted.
Yeah, how about that, bitch? All right. McConnell's a fucking asshole. Seriously, every time he speaks, I think that he just had a fucking stroke or like an aneurysm or something like that. He reminds me, if you get a chance, look it up. I think it's Davy Jones. Whatever the octopus pirate captain was from that one Pirates of the Caribbean movie. That's what Mitch McConnell reminds me of. Like if he had fucking tentacles coming down his face instead of jowls. Nevertheless, she persisted. You imagine listening to a conversation between him and Tom Brokaw? It'd be fucking maddening. Okay, so this guy, he's got 133 views, and I'm pretty sure I'm responsible for like a dozen of them. He wrote this just atrocious song called She Persisted. Okay, here we go.
I call the Senator to order under the provisions of Rule 19.
Prepare to have your world rocked, patriarchy.
The words of Coretta Scott King are not suitable for debate in the United States Senate. I ask leave of the Senate to continue my remarks.
They told her a woman couldn't learn like a man, nevertheless she persisted. They told her women can't write like men can, nevertheless she persisted. They told her a woman can't make it in Congress like us, never.
Oh yeah, you can picture yourself, you're hanging around the campfire, all of a sudden this fucking fedora wearing neckbeard pulls out his guitar.
They were warned.
I want to sing a little song about a thing I call equality. Buckle up, chauvinists.
I'm so glad they stood up. We're lucky.
There was a dude holding a sign that said, I can't choose for a woman, which I feel is true, but hold on a second. I gotta this song is fucking terrible. I've been talking over it, so I'll give you a taste of just like another 20 seconds, and then I'll spare you the whole fucking thing. You can look it up. It's just if you search She Persisted, a million motherfuckers wrote songs about it, but so when we were growing up, there was this fucking kid, and I mention this now because he's become one of these male feminists. You know, he obviously doesn't go to the fucking gym. He's just like this doughy, skinny, fat douche who hides behind a pair of horn-rimmed glasses and goes to the theater and shit. Yet he just does things that are terrible and not fun. But when we were kids, he liked sports, and I played fucking Little League and hockey with him, whatever the fuck else. But anyway, he's been getting militant on Facebook about this Women's March shit, so me and my buddies have been roasting him in our group text. He has no idea that's going on. I don't fucking. He'd probably like, ugh, the patriarchy, ugh, men. Like he's one of these straight white males who wants to blame straight white males for fucking everything. Anyway, when we were kids, we were all big Devils fans. A couple of our friends were Rangers fans, so I had a bunch of people over to watch the NHL playoffs. So the Devils were playing the Rangers. And he brought over this little ceramic Stanley Cup of the ilk that you can purchase for $20 out of a catalog at the time. At the time, there were these things called catalogs. They were magazines, and you would order shit out of them. This was before Amazon existed, for my younger listeners. Anyway, after the game's over, his mom comes to pick him up, and on the neighbor's lawn, we pantsed him, and then we schoolboyed him right in front of his fucking mom. And he tried to give chase with the Stanley Cup in hand, and fucking, I guess he must have stumbled or some shit happened, and he dropped the cup. And this was all going on grass, but somehow just the small spot that he dropped the ceramic Stanley Cup that he so cherished was on the little sidewalk that cuts through a suburban front lawn to get to the house, and it shattered like a motherfucker, and he started bawling like a fucking toddler, and we all had to chip in to buy this guy a new fucking Stanley Cup. What a fucking twink. And now he's a male feminist as a result. I think we created him. Our juvenile male horseplay was too much for his progressive taste. Anyway, what a fucking bitch. Anyway, here's like another 30 seconds of this bullshit. She persisted.
Lead a Muslim country, nevertheless she persisted. They told her science and math crave a man's touch. Nevertheless she
I think this guy craves a man's touch.
women shouldn't like.
Ugh. All right, let's wrap this up.
And given an explanation, they were scorned and faced intimidation.
There's another sign that says, "Dear students, I'm marching for you." So is this a women's march, or is it a march against bullshit student loans?
Persisted for every silence.
I think those stupid fucking pussycat hats are cutting off the blood flow to some of their brains. All of their brains.
And every new way to rise, for every match and said one, for every rule.
Due to illness and some production delays, I'm actually doing this tonight. Trump's doing his address to Congress. I would love it if he came out and trolled hard in a pussycat hat.
Told her to be a mother and a wife, nevertheless she persisted. They told her she'd be a slave her whole life, nevertheless she persisted. They told her she'd never do anything to help them.
Ugh.
Nevertheless she persisted.
Oh, that girl is fat. I might have known that chick. She looked very familiar and very fat. I hope I didn't wake up next to her one morning. Ugh.
And given an explanation, they were scorned.
A poster of Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo. A South American woman with she's a Latinx woman. That's what they call you. The social justice warriors don't say Latina or Latino because that implies gender. It's Latinx. Frida Kahlo is one of their favorite Latinx women. If you don't know who Frida Kahlo is, she's I think she was like a Peruvian or Chilean artist. Anyway, she was hideous. She had a mustache, and she used to do these horrible self-portraits. But women loved her because her husband used to kick her ass. That's literally all you have to do is eat a punch from your husband as a chick, and you are on your way. They should just scour trailer parks for feminist inspiration. Fucking Cletus down there, halfway through a bottle of moonshine with his brother/dad. Get over here, woman. Get me another glass of this 3X shit before and I gotta put another black eye onto the other side of your face. Fucking places are crawling with feminist icons. Let me see. There are a bunch of other She Persisted songs that dickheads have written. Let me see if I can, thought I saw one before. Here you go. This fucking guy. Alright, let's see what this guy's up to. You can see in the background, oh my god. What a fucking homo. Yeah, we gotta watch this one. Real quick. I wasn't gonna do too many. Sorry about the ad. I'll skip it. 2, 1, boo.
She was warned. She was given an explanation. And nevertheless.
Okay. This is the problem. It's because you can't write an original fucking song about this shit because it's just that everyone's regurgitating the same line. This asshole and his stupid receding hairline. If you look in the back of the room that he's operating out of here, it says in rainbow colors he's written "organize" on the wall. He's sending a message, all right? And if you don't like it, you could piss off. You can move. Because they're not leaving. I know. They threatened to move to Canada, but that was too good to be true. They're here. They're going to organize. And you're going to listen. Because she persisted. Here we go.
She persisted.
Hanging around downtown by myself. Sorry, wrong song.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
You should... This dude's hairline is receding so fucking badly. He looks like fucking Encino Man. If Encino Man was playing the guitar and singing about feminism and had a look on his face like he was taking a dump and coming at the same time. Anyway, keep going. I do like his mic setup though. I gotta get a better mic. These things kind of blow. They're all over the place. None of my mics are like of the same strength, and I keep having to balance everything out or in fucking post-production. I don't whatever. Stupid fucking screen. Shut up. Here we go.
She won't give up, and neither will we. She didn't stop when you told her to, and that's the way it's gonna be.
If I wrote a song about a man, a celebratory song about a man who didn't stop when he was told to, the feminists would be singing a much different tune. We'll call it Rape Kit Rhapsody. Yeah. This guy just has a constant I have to take a dump look on his face.
The stronger we get, the more you try to shove us all around, the less we will forgive and forget.
I will say that objectively speaking, this guy is considerably better than the last fucking cuck that we just listened to. Jonathan Man 1. Whatever the fucking guy's name was before. 0.
Nevertheless, she persisted.
Oh my. Oh, so brave. So brave and so powerful. Oh. Before we move on, I found those while I was fucking around on the internet, and I was like, this shit these people are out there. Those guys also apparently have penis. They're probably the kind of guys who wear t-shirts that say, I apologize for my penis. That's that. I figured we'd have a little fun and watch those. Sorry for making you sit through that shit god-awful music. The last one, I guess if he produced it up a little bit, probably wouldn't have sounded too terrible. Kind of had that late 90s rock feeling. Video would have made it onto the... were they doing TRL or the top 25? That would have been a TRL contender. Maybe you get Jacob Dylan to do it. You write the lyrics, Jacob Dylan sings them. Anyway, we'll move on here. I don't know what I got coming up next. Let me see. All right, sports fans, so we will go ahead and keep the liberal hate fest rolling here with a word from one of our favorites. Girls writer, creator, and star, Lena Dunham. Let's see what I call her, Beautiful Lena. Let's see what Beautiful Lena has to say. Just what a goddess. Mad Men-style comb-over. Oversized business suit. She's not letting the patriarchy doesn't tell my girl Lena how to dress. Here we go. 8 thoughts on feminism.
Well, I think it's complicated how young women react to the word feminist.
Beat.
Some women react really positively, because Beyonce said it. I always say to young women, feminist...
I don't know if I've ever discussed this before. Her fans fucking blow. The Bayhive. Oh, it's the Bayhive. Queen Bey. Oh, my fucking God. By the way, the original Queen Bee, Lil' Kim from out in Brooklyn, nothing would give me more joy than if Lil' Kim showed up at the fucking, like the VMAs or some shit, and just bitch slapped Beyonce. Ugh. Fucking annoying. She's another one of these. Everything's a powerful feminist moment. Powerful. Everything a woman does is powerful and brave and empowering. Oh, thank you so much, brave ladies. All right.
Feminism doesn't mean you want to, take a stake and kill all the men and, create your own planet.
I feel like you've totally said shit like that before, Lena, you fucking hypocrite.
People who were born not of your gender deserve. And so if you care about equality, it's really simple and hard to negate. Part of feminism is the freedom to let other women make choices you don't necessarily understand. So while you may not want to walk out with tape X's on your nipples and booty shorts, that may be the strong feminist choice for another woman. And even if you can't imagine your...
Oh, really, Lena? What if you might want to walk into a voting booth and pull a lever for, say, Donald J. Trump or Gary Johnson? Is that a strong feminist thing to do because it's independent? because I have another video coming up in which you come off as a bit hypocritical. I can't crack my voice anymore. Sorry, I want to go real high pitch, but anyway, as we will see shortly, Lena Dunham is of course full of fucking shit, and as Barstool Sports has oft written, yes, she looks like a big gross bag of milk. That's what she sounds like. She doesn't have tits, she has fucking udders, because she's a fucking cow. Alright. More Lena. We're almost done. Thankfully, this is a short video.
Yourself in her shoes, part of your job as a feminist is just to support her. Even as much as I admire the suffragettes, just like seeing a bunch of women marching and getting arrested in petticoats is hilarious. And then seeing a bunch of women like grow their armpit hair as a rebellious act is hilarious. The fashion of the feminist movement has always been LOL funny.
No, it hasn't. There's never been an LOL funny feminist.
Radical female musicians, everyone from Betty Davis, not the movie star, the one who was married to Miles Davis, to, FKA Twigs, my mother, Laurie Simmons, my grandmother, Asada Shakur as a role model.
Just what a shitty fucking hipsterish list of people that no one has ever fucking heard of. Ugh. Your grandmother should have had a fucking abortion. That way we would have had a 2-generation standoff between you and whatever fucking created you. Just disgusting. Your parents must be so fucking disgusted every time they see your fat, disgusting, naked ass parading around on HBO. What do you think? They're sitting in the living... Oh, honey, our Lena she is so brave. Look at her parading that cottage cheese ass cheeks all over HBO on Sunday night, ruining the end of everyone's weekend. Atta girl, do it for Papa. Or do you think they're really like, Christ, honey, we probably should have taught her some portion control and told her that simple carbs and trans fats will make your ass blow up like the fucking Goodyear blimp. Too late now. Oh well. At least we can count ourselves amongst that rare breed that gets to retire off of the fact that their daughter is a fat whore. Oh, honey, isn't it wonderful? Ha ha ha. Let me just keep going. Quit trying to improv, dick. Okay.
I love her biography. And I love women who make jokes. Comedians like Elaine May and Gilda Radner and Lily Tomlin.
Yeah.
I have a feminist issue with the Kardashians. It's not my place to judge the Kardashians. It's my place to enjoy.
It appears to be your place to judge everyone else.
There's no woman I would ever denounce as unfeminist because I think it's unfeminist to do that.
Oh, really? Oh,
2025.
Oh, really? What about all the women who voted for Donald Trump? Yet again, we'll be there in a little bit, Lena. Don't you worry.
I think that feminism is no longer a dirty word. I think we're probably on our second female president.
Sorry, bitch. We didn't even get the first. Oh wait, this was a shot before the election. Yeah, about that, Lena. About that. Fuck you, fucking cunt.
If our president's not female, they're definitely down with calling themselves a feminist because they recognize it's the sex.
If just every one of her predictions has fallen incredibly flat on its face. Did you? Donald J. Trump is a proud feminist. And people tell me they say, Donald, you are the best feminist we've ever met. And I tell them I've always been a feminist. Why do you think I've had so many wives? Donald J. Trump loves women so much that he goes right up and grabs them by the pussy. That I can't do a Trump voice, I'm sorry. Everyone tries to do a Trump impersonation. You got to own the fact that you suck at it. There's maybe a couple good Trump impersonators out there, and really, it's tough to do the voice. It's such a Donald J. Trump. It's people have been telling me. They've been saying, Donald, you're the biggest feminist we've ever met. You are the biggest feminist. And I tell them, I've been a feminist my entire life. I have been marrying women and grabbing them by the pussy and bringing them in from other countries for decades before Lena Dunham. Donald J. Trump is the best feminist. You know, you can't fucking. It's shitty and it's hacky and I shouldn't even be doing it. So fuck me. Kick me in the balls for trying to imitate Trump. I think it comes off a lot better if you do the hand motions and mannerisms and stuff. And obviously, if you're on SNL or something, you get the benefit of the makeup and the fact that the entire audience hates Trump, so they're just gonna stomp and cheer no matter what you do. Ugh, that show fucking blows. Anyway, let's wrap. Lena has a bold prediction about election 2016 that might not have come true. Let's hear her out though.
Sexy thing to do, and it's going to get them laid. Our first female president is going to be Hillary Clinton unless there's a real last-minute dash by Viola Davis. I'm not going to run for female president because I have a very public history of nudity that I think would prevent me.
Yeah, you have a very unfortunate history of nudity too. Like any time you do it, it's unfortunate. Oh, I fucking hate her. So anyway, she went on, what was it, The View? One of those daytime shows where the women sit around and fucking squawk at each other about whatever the fuck. Yeah, it was The View. Lena Dunham bashes white women Trump voters on The View.
It is an incredible problem.
I'd like a View that doesn't feature Lena Dunham.
53% of white women in this country.
She's ruining The View. Get her out of here.
They're not only voting against the interests of their sisters, of women who may not look like them, who they may not understand, but whose rights are just as important.
The uglies.
But it's also remember that they are in that case voting against their own best interests. And to me, a part of feminism is it's almost like being a parent to a teenager where they're so mad at you, they think you're such a piece of crap, and you're like, I know you hate me right now, but I love you.
Shut the fuck up. Didn't I just listen to you say, anything a woman does, whenever a woman makes her own choice, it's empowering and powerful, and everything is powerful and empowering, unless you vote for the fucking guy that I didn't vote for, and then you're a complete fucking cunt piece of garbage, and I need to send you for political re-education. That's what she wants. That she's talking about political re-education with Lena Dunham. Christ. If Hillary had won, you'd have these fucking Brooklyn hipsters with their hairy armpits and big stinky bushes would be opening up. You remember during communism they had like the House Un-American Committees House Un-American Activities Committee, where they would investigate un-American activities and people suspected of communism. You would have these chicks like Lena Dunham and Madonna and who's the one that made a complete ass out of herself at the Women's March? I am a nasty woman. Fucking Ashley Judd. She'd be on it. The House to Unfeminist Activities Committee. It wouldn't be too long before they'd have big, like, orange is the new black style internment camps. Although I guess that would wind up being a very, very I wonder how that would work. It would have the potential to be very sexy, right? Because the uglies would be locking up all the hot chicks and putting them in cells together. But then you would think that it wouldn't be jail. It would be more of like a feminist re-education camp. So they would probably shave all of their heads and make them grow out their armpit hair and start dressing like fucking bull dykes. So that wouldn't be sexy. But if they're in there long enough and there are no men around, these formerly hot chicks, yeah, all right. Scratch that. There would be nothing sexy about this because the once hot chicks would become ugly because they'd be convinced that they should love their bodies and eat whatever the fuck they want and dress like fucking ugly lesbians, and it would ruin the whole thing. They would no longer the potential for fun lipstick-style lesbians would be completely lost, and we'd be dealing with just kind of a massive cabal, like just a patchouli stinking camp of chicks that look like Lena Dunham. Ugh, be her. And who's the ugly one from MSNBC? The one with the boy haircut. Yeah, it would be Linda Cohn and Lena Dunham would be at the head of the House Anti-Feminist Activities Committee, jailing attractive women for the crime of having a nice set of tits and pleasing their men. Anyway, let's keep going. What other sage advice does Lena Dunham have for the ladies of America who voted against Hillary Clinton? Shrillery, as she has been called on this show before. I come too far. I used to love when O&A would play that fucking clip. I come too far. I don't know how Bill did. Bill was like in love with her when they got married too. She was never hot. She's always to me looked like the owl from the potato chips or like the fucking Tootsie Pop commercial. Anyway, more Lena. I'm sorry I'm putting you through this. Disgusting.
Everything I'm doing is because I love you and I want us all to be safe.
But those women, to their defense, believe that he's going to bring back jobs, a lot of them, because they're
yeah, shove it up her ass.
Family. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think what's really hard is obviously it pains me as, a Caucasian woman to think about how many women didn't think about women who looked different or had different life experiences than them. They didn't look outside their own backyard.
Oh, you mean?
For Donald
but in
Trump.
their own backyard,
Oh, you mean, Lena, that they had fucking issues that went beyond fucking hairy armpits and stinky vaginas and fucking tampon taxes? You mean they were worried about their fucking their husband being able to put food on the table, or about their ability, because they live in a rural area, to own a firearm that they can protect their fucking home with, and they didn't want the fucking government to tell them that they couldn't have a magazine of a certain capacity, even though criminals were going to have those, and there was going to be an unfair matchup in case their home got broken into, and a litany of other things that people in this country were fucking concerned with, other than your bullshit little Hollywood fucking feminist crusade? Is that it? You fucking cow. More.
What I was going to say is that
put food on the table, it's hard for them to see another perspective when they're clearing no money to pay for health care. Do you know what I'm saying?
How about the ladies of the View shoving it up her ass?
To do that.
I'm sorry. I actually interrupted you. I'm sorry.
I think it's really important. Of course, I understand what you're saying.
Is there a guy on
It's really important to understand that so many women.
Why is there a white male on this segment and he hasn't corrected everyone yet?
From Donald Trump,
he's doing us all a very big disservice.
Heard from their fathers, from their brothers, from their husbands. They haven't been given the message that they do matter. And so
they haven't?
I think we have an incredible amount of work to do
Really?
enlightening those women.
This society does literally everything that is done right now is done to empower women and young girls to the point that it's like fucking nauseating. Ah, gross. It's not even 11 o'clock in the morning and my entire fucking day is ruined because I had to listen to this and look at this just fat fucking cow. She's wearing a borderline like see-through vest too. Just disgusting. Gross. It boggles my mind that there is a guy who fucks her. Think about that. I mean, I'm sure she straps him, right? Do you think she ever even takes it off? She probably walks around with 12 inches of fucking latex hanging between her legs, referring to it as her penis. I bet if you meet her, there's a huge bulge in her shorts. Anyway. What do we got next? Are we doing Milo next? I think I got Milo coming up. Let me check. All right, yeah, we'll do some Milo before we wrap up. If you don't know who Milo Yiannopoulos is, which if you listen to me, I'm sure you do. I mention him all the time. He's like this sassy, gay, British, half Jew who loves big black cocks, but he's actually a Catholic, and he has opinions that are deemed controversial by the media and just abhorrent by the left. So anytime, like, he thinks that feminists are mostly fat and ugly. He thinks the campus campus culture's become too politically correct. He doesn't believe that there's a campus rape culture. He thinks feminism sucks. Yeah, I think he said feminism is cancer and Islam is a disease or something like that. Views that a lot of people with certain conservative-ish values, and almost libertarian views, who just think that everyone's gone off the shit, because I agree with a lot of stuff that Milo says, and I disagree with a good chunk. But anyway, to give context, what happened over the past month, whenever Milo goes somewhere to speak, there are protests that follow, but they've been becoming increasingly violent. And finally, he was going to be speaking at Berkeley, which ironically, Berkeley, home of the free speech movement from the 60s and 70s. Students there have protested and violently rioted. I mean, anyone who's controversial, they don't want showing up on their campus. You either have to match their very specific set of opinion-based guidelines. You have to... If you don't believe what they also believe, then you will not be speaking on their campus, even if another student group has invited you and wants to hear what you have to say. So what I refer to it as, and I always get into fights with people about this on Twitter, I call it the social suppression of the First Amendment, right? It's not the government doing it. You are free to speak while people are violently protesting your presence, but it may not be good for life, limb, or eyesight if you continue to do so. And oftentimes that means that the event is then canceled, which I think the reasonable man says that, well, yes, this is not technically a First Amendment violation because it's not the government doing it. It is what we would call the social suppression of one's First Amendment rights. Right, you are being intimidated with fear of death or bodily harm on the grounds that you need to shut the fuck up, according to some people. But anyway, I'll give you a little clip from they were fucking rioting at Berkeley, and I'm not joking when I say rioting. What happens is this group, these Antifa, they call it the anti-fascists. They latch on to these student movements and essentially use the movement to so what happens is basically that the whiny liberal students they show up and they hold a peaceful protest, and it serves as sort of a shield for these anti-fascists, Antifa, to execute violence. And it's there's a very mutually supporting relationship there. The Antifa push everyone over the edge and get the event canceled, while the protesting students can say, but we were being peaceful. Yeah, so it's not... Look, this shit isn't secret anymore. We know how fucking organizers work. Our last president was a former community organizer. The left likes to organize. Apparently they can't organize their way into the fucking White House. Can't organize... Not organized enough to get people off their asses on election day in the Rust Belt, I guess. Not organized enough to route Hillary's travel itinerary towards Wisconsin. Blame the straight white males, that's what I say. But in this case, I guess they're going after the gay white male. But we'll do just a little bit of CNN's coverage on the riots, and then I want to check out. He had some other incidents that I'll kind of explain along the way.
Well, Anderson,
if you're wondering, that was the sound of a bottle rocket being fired at...
This is an event at Berkeley where Milo Yiannopoulos, who...
They are if you can see this, they are literally firing bottle rockets at the building he's supposed to speak in.
And you can see from the reaction, I'm going to step out of the shot here. What is happening here is that these are student protesters, some anarchists, from what I can gather, and trying to breach the building. Right.
Yeah, if you're wondering why it sounds like Fallujah circa November 2004, it's because these fucks are firing fireworks at the building and setting shit on fire. Could you fucking imagine if if a pro-Trump group did this. The fucking days of outrage and fucking sit-ins and bullshit we'd have to put up with.
I don't have any idea how many people are here, but you can certainly feel that there's a lot of tension. From what I can tell, police officers who are dressed in riot gear are just trying to keep this building where this event is supposed to be happening secure. What we saw are some of the...
It ceases to be a peaceful protest when officers in riot gear have to keep a fucking waifish little twink safe.
This is, if you're just a demonstration against the speaker who was invited to speak at Berkeley in Berkeley, California. He's from Breitbart, and there's a number of times in appearances that he's made on college campuses that there have been demonstrations against him. Clearly, this is taking it to a new level. Kyung is saying there were sort of some self-described anarchists.
A new level? Anderson, call it what it is. It's fucking violent. This is no longer a peaceful protest.
The building, and we've lost, I think, IFB with Kyung, which we're trying to get restored, but you can see just two different vantage points. That would appear to be the building on campus in which I assume the speech was to take place. I'm not sure if the speaker is inside there or exactly if the speech is continuing or ever even started. In some cases on these campuses, we've seen the speech Kyung, I understand you're back with us now. We're seeing two different vantage points. One, a ground level shot. The other shot of kind of a balcony. And it's not clear to me. There's an individual on the balcony. It's not clear if that's a camera in the person's hand or what exactly is going on there. But can you just kind of give us the lay of the land in terms of where the protesters are, where you are, where the building is, and is the speaker inside the building?
We don't know. Speaker is inside the building. The vantage point that I'm at is I'm on the ground floor, and we are looking at officers dressed in riot gear, and I'm not exactly sure.
Kyung, we're also seeing, sorry, on the left-hand side of the screen.
Something from their.
Kyung, we're also seeing on what is now full screen for us. Those are protester shields that they've made, that they've brought to
Yes, I can see.
Yeah. In case you're wondering what they're talking about, they came armed with shields. These are people who were prepared for violence. All right, peaceful protest my ass.
The ones who have been the most violent, they have been dressed in all black. They have black scarves covering their faces.
If you did this at a feminist event, you would be drawn and quartered in the West Village.
These barricades.
All right.
Them up and smash
Enough.
them through the first floor of this building. In the lights that were set up, the street lights.
Smashing things. They did that during the inauguration too.
I can see the word.
This is great, man. If you are a Trump voter or if you're Donald J, you're loving every second of this shit because you're securing votes for 2020. This is driving people away from the left. I mean, this is just fucking absurd. So anyway, Milo was kind of a fringe guy before these riots, and then the riots took place, and obviously it's CNN, it's national media coverage. It kind of shoved him into the spotlight, so Bill Maher booked him for his show, and there were supposed to be protests, but apparently it rained, so none of them showed up. And they had the usual discussion about free speech and stuff. One of the left-wing panelists who was supposed to be on the show dropped out because that's what the left does. That's what they do. They will not debate you. They don't want to debate you because they can't appear wrong on anything. That's it. They do not want to debate anyone. Because we don't want to validate his opinions. We don't want what if someone doesn't want to validate your fucking bullshit. I fucking hate everybody. Anyway, so Milo doing Bill. Everyone got mad at Bill Maher. That's the new thing now. Every liberal gets pissed off at Bill Maher over everything, even though he's probably their strongest voice right now. Bill Maher is probably the strongest, most reasonable voice on the left that everyone ignores because they don't like what he has to say about Islam, and he's a supporter of free speech. That's it. He doesn't want people to be silenced. So the left disavows him all the fucking time. A couple days after he went on Bill Maher, Milo was supposed to speak at the CPAC. It's a big, it's the annual conservative convention. And some clips of him, if you don't know, Milo is actually the survivor of, or the survivor? No, call him the fucking survivor. He was the victim of child sex abuse by, I guess it was a priest. And then when he was an older teenager, around 17, he was dating a guy who was like, I want to say like 29, 30, which I guess in the gay community is actually pretty typical. What older teens will do when they figure out, hey, I'm kind of into these penis things, not those vaginas offer nothing to me. They'll kind of find an older gay guy to teach them the ropes, as it is. And actually, I have a segment on that coming up later in the show. So Milo, he goes on a couple podcasts, and as you know, if you're a podcast listener, you know that when you go on a podcast, you tend to disappear down what I call an intellectual rabbit hole. Typically, one fueled by booze, caffeine, and drugs, right? You get fucked up while you do that. No one podcasts completely sober. You'd be an asshole if you did that. I guess that's what they do at NPR. They probably... And welcome to the Sober Hour. We will be talking about all things calm and perfectly acceptable for mass consumption. Chamomile tea, snowmen, the first flowers of spring, all coming up on NPR this afternoon. Joining us today will be Dr. Whitebread Smith. Anyway, I guess that's what they talk about on NPR. I have no fucking clue. I've got no clue. Anyway, Milo made some comments during these shows, alluding to the fact that he thinks maybe it's okay that teens and older dudes hook up, and that it might be more consensual than people think. Well, as is the case in 2017, those comments were hijacked and taken wildly out of fucking context. And if you know Milo, you realize he does a lot of comedy, and a lot of it's very dark comedy. And he was joking about, like, you know, he learned how to give head by sucking off Father O'Brien or whatever the fuck the guy's name was. And he got absolutely crucified by both the left and the right. The CPAC dropped him because of his support for pedophilia. I highly doubt that it was because of that. It probably had to do with the fact that Catholics tend to be hardcore conservatives, and you probably don't want a speaker at your event going up and ranting about how Catholic priests butt-fucked him when he was a little kid. I have a sneaking suspicion that it was that instead of his alleged support for pedophilia. Tell me I'm wrong. Convince you that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have no fucking clue. But I would, dollars to donuts, bet you that that's what it was. But anyway, it just sparked this massive outrage. So he did it wasn't so much, I wouldn't call it an apology as much as I would call it a clarifying statement. So let me see if I can dig that up, and then that'll be our last video, and then we'll move on to, whatchamacallit, some voicemails.
I'm a gay man and a child abuse victim.
All right, here's Milo's statement. I'll stop it a couple times to kind of discuss. I probably won't do the whole thing.
One of those men was a priest. My relationship with my abusers is complicated by the fact that at the time, I didn't perceive what was happening as abusive. But I can look back now and see that it was. I still don't view myself as a victim, but clearly I am one. Looking back, I see the effects that this had on me. In the years after what happened, I fell in...
He dressed like... if you didn't get to see this, he dressed like Harry Potter, but with a red Republican power tie. So that's going to score him some points with both the left and the right. Nicely done, Milo.
Alcohol and nihilistic partying. It lasted well into my 20s. A few years ago, I realized it was time to do something good with my life. I started focusing on work, but the black comedy, the gallows humor, and the love of shock value I developed in my 20s never really went away.
That's the world needs so much more of that, by the way.
A few days ago, in the proper context, and I don't believe that they say what is being reported. Nonetheless, I do say some things on the tapes that I do not mean, and which do not reflect.
Yeah, how about that? The fucking The mainstream media, who paid no attention to this guy forever until this shit came out, which it had been out there for a year. He did those podcasts like forever ago. This wasn't new shit. It wasn't until then that they decided to fucking crucify him and make a case out of it. By the way, the same media who, when that Rolling Stone bullshit article about the University of Virginia came out, no one wanted to. If you questioned it, you were a victim shamer, and you believe the victim. Listen to the victim. Everyone deals with sexual assault and trauma in their own way. Well, I guess everyone except for Milo Yiannopoulos, who the way he deals with it will be placed under a fucking microscope and went through with a fucking fine-tooth comb. Just the rampant hypocrisy that we approach the left versus the right with in this country sometimes is fucking absurd. And it's not even so much I don't even mean a political left versus right. I mean more of a social left versus right thing, because this has nothing to do with free market economies or anything like that. This has to do with a man who was attacked by a clergyman when he was younger, wanting to use his platform now as a way to kind of work through the problems, and he chooses to do it through dark humor and making outlandish suggestions. There's nothing wrong with that. I use this show to deal with shit through dark humor and outlandish suggestions. It's fun. It's a visceral experience. People should do more of this shit. All right, a little more Milo.
Reflect my views. My experiences as a victim led me to believe that I could say almost anything on this subject, no matter how outrageous. But I understand that my usual blend of sassy, gay British sarcasm, provocation, and gallows humor might have come across as flippancy. A lack of care for other victims, or even worse, as seems to have been the case in reports, advocacy. I'm horrified by that impression. I would like to restate my disgust at adults who sexually abuse minors. I'm horrified by pedophilia, and I have devoted large portions of my career to exposing child abusers. I've exposed 3 of them.
I was just going to, yes. The horrible pedophile defender has put 3 fucking kid touchers in jail.
And I was also the first journalist.
Hell of a lot more than fucking Chris Cuomo or whoever the fuck else has done.
Whether the real story of his rampant child abuse would ever be told, my professional record is very, very clear. But I do understand that the videos that you have seen, even though some of them were deceptively edited, paint a different picture, and I am partly to blame for that. I do not advocate for illegal behavior. I explicitly say in the tapes, in a section that was cut from the footage that you've seen, but I think the age of consent currently is about right. I do not believe that any change in the legal age of consent is justifiable or desirable. I don't believe that sex with 13-year-olds is okay.
My favorite part about this is that
age that I lost my virginity.
After he made his it's not an apology, it's more of a statement. He did apologize to other victims, which I think is fine, but he was defiant in the face of liberal outrage and I guess conservative outrage too. The talking heads on CNN were going ballistic. It wasn't contrite. It wasn't a real apology. Well, no fucking shit. You're not just going to get handed your apology because you demand one. And this fucking drives me insane. This is why I need to be in a public position where I can piss people off and then not apologize. Because it's gone too far. We are now making the victim of sex abuse apologize for jokes that he made about sex abuse as a way for him to deal with the fact that he was sexually abused. This is absurd. This is ridiculous. When Trump says other countries are laughing at us, I think this is what he actually means. All right, Milo. Keep it going, baby.
Age. But I understand how heterosexual people may not have realized that, and that was an error. I was in fact...
How dare you hetero-shame me, you fucking faggot.
A man who was 29. The age of consent in the UK is 16. I did say that there are relationships between older gay men and younger gay men that can help the younger gay man escape from a lack of support or understanding at home. It's perfectly true, and every gay man knows it. I'm certainly guilty of imprecise language, which I regret. And anyone who suggests, however, that I turn a blind eye to illegal activity or to the abuse of minors is unequivocally wrong. I'm implacably opposed to the normalization of pedophilia, and I will continue to report and speak accordingly. To repeat, I do not support child abuse. It's a disgusting crime of which I have personally been a victim.
Yes, he, the victim, was talking about a thing he has experienced, and somehow came out looking like the fucking bad
my
guy.
Life experiences in the way that I choose to, which is through humor and provocation. No one can tell me or anyone else who has lived through these experiences how they should best deal with those emotions. But I am sorry to other abuse victims who may have interpreted what I said as flippant or uncaring. If my own personal way of dealing with what happened to me has hurt you, I will never stop making jokes about taboo subjects.
Thank
Go into
you,
any drag
Milo.
bar or gay club, and you will hear joke after joke after joke about clerical sexual abuse. I'm not afforded the same freedom to make those kinds of jokes because the media chooses to selectively define me as a political figure in some circumstances and
exactly,
in others, and also, of course, because I'm a conservative.
Exactly. That's it. I'm gonna. You know what? We can end Milo on that one because that just really hammers it home. If you're like a pithy, sassy, liberal gay guy making a joke about like getting fucking molested by Donald Trump or something like that at over Sunday brunch in Chelsea, all of your fucking pussycat hat wearing fucking cunt friends will be giggling and laughing their ass off, and you'll all give each other effeminate high fives. But the second that Milo does it, because he voted for a guy that you don't like, he's a fucking monster. Just the absurd levels of hypocrisy on display here, and this is what happens. This is what it does. You know what's funny? The first ones to oppose Milo, it was the CPAC that told him he couldn't speak there anymore. This could have been a conservative thing, could have made the conservatives look like jackasses. Say, oh, shouldn't you guys be defending that free speech thing you're always shouting about? Yeah, give him the platform. Meet him on the field of ideas, let him go. The left could have said that. The left could have come out as advocates for free speech and victims' rights and all this other shit. But no, because out of their spite and vengefulness for Milo Yiannopoulos, they just decided to ride that fucking wave, baby. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, even if it's just for a few minutes. Fucking just shit all over him. The Mashables of the world. They're talking about what Milo Yiannopoulos said about pedophilia is not okay. Like the downfall of Milo Yiannopoulos. Oh, thank God he's self-publishing his book and he's launching a new media venture. I am looking forward to ensconcing myself in all of that shit just to piss off the fucking whiny little cunts on the left. All right. That's been exhausting. I have no time left for this kind of shenanigans and fuckery in my day today. I gotta move on to something else. Let's take a few voicemails. We just set up the voicemail box. Let's see. We got a few in here. Let's have a listen, shall we? Got the first one, a very pertinent question from Gary in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Let's what's on Gary's mind?
Hi, Michael. This is Gary from Fair Lawn, and I had a question I was hoping that you'd be able to answer for me. So I like to ejaculate inside my wife's vagina, and I also like to eat it, the cream pie afterwards. Does that make me gay? I think because I'm married to a woman, I'm not gay, but I do like to eat my own cum.
Tremendous subject matter. This actually reminds me of something else that happened when I was a teenager. All right, that sounds bad. That makes it sound like I'm into getting fucking cream pied. I'm not, by the way. I don't eat cum, I swear. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If that's what you do, nothing wrong with that. Anyway, in health class, we had this question box, and since it's high school health class, it's the gym teacher who was answering the fucking questions. And our gym teacher was a complete fucking dullard. We'll go ahead and call him Mr. Paterno. Anyway, if you went to Glen Rock High School, you probably know who I'm talking about. Huge Yankees fan, played in some kind of beer league softball team. He was one of the least athletic people I've ever met, especially for a fucking gym teacher. I remember he had like 135 on the bench one day and was looking around the weight room like a fucking tough guy, somehow not realizing that every 10th grader on the football team was stronger than him. Just a complete dud of a human being. And he used to teach to drive. Take the cock out of your mouth. God damn it. He used to teach driver's ed and make you wait in the car outside of his house while he ate lunch. Just a complete fucking chud of a human being. Anyway, this fucking clown thought it would be a good idea to trust a bunch of 11th grade boys with an anonymous question box in health class. So, we obviously stuffed the box. Yeah, stuffed the box. We stuffed it with questions about strap-on dildos and anal warts and everything else. And since it's pertinent here, I wrote one. I was pretending to be a girl whose boyfriend often asked for a finger in the ass during blowjobs. And I tagged the note with a line saying that I was worried that my boyfriend might secretly be gay. So anyway, Mr. Paterno, perhaps in a bid to save a young relationship and do a good deed, or perhaps just to reassure himself, was quite adamant that it is totally not gay to have your chick stick a finger in your ass. He wanted us to leave that classroom convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that dudes who like to get fingered totally aren't gay. Mr. Paterno made it perfectly clear to everyone that if they knew a guy who liked to get fingered, he was technically still straight, because it is still totally straight to get fingered by a chick. I think he said many men do in fact enjoy being stimulated anally. It is known as milking the prostate, and it is totally normal. It does not make you gay. That's his dullard fucking voice, by the way. Anyway, he was quite adamant about that. He really seemed hell-bent on reinforcing the fact that if a woman shoved her fingers up your ass, it wasn't gay. I don't know why. I mean, I guess he was just trying to help, right? That's the only reason. So to answer your question, Gary, what I would say is, if it's your cum, then it's incredibly weird, but not gay. I think it becomes gay when it's another dude's cum. If you're getting cucked and the bull pumps a load inside of your wife's sniz, and then you suck it out, then you're crossing the threshold. And I'm sure Mr. Paterno would agree. That guy fucking hated us. We had this thing called Project Adventure, where they would rig us up in these harnesses and we'd climb around in a tree. And there was this waifish little twink in our class he had this really like high-pitched voice. And whenever Mr. Paterno's back was turned one day and we hoisted this kid up in the air, he had to be about 8 feet off the ground. And he starts giggling like a fucking idiot. Yeah, Paterno! Paterno! To get the teacher's attention. And Paterno turns around and yells, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" So all 5 of us who were hoisting him just in unison let go of the fucking rope, and this twink fell 8 feet to the ground. Every gym teacher in the school was furious with us that day, except for the one who was a door gunner in Vietnam. He found the whole thing hilarious. Anyway, they made us write an essay. Fucking assholes. I guess we got off kind of easy. 10 years later, Christ, if this shit happened today, we'd be charged with a hate crime. There'd be a hashtag and rallies against twink dropping. It would be called, like, Get the Drop on Hate. That would be the name of the rally. Get the Drop on Hate. And as a sign of unity, they'd all be stringing themselves up in trees and trying to drop. But those mechanically inept hipster ass jockeys would just wind up lynching themselves instead and doing the world a massive public service. Christ. Look, I'm far from a hate monger. I have a number of gay friends, so I want to bridge a divide here. I don't think that many people really hate gays. I think they hate faggots. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. The kind of flaming, annoying, whiny, girly, bitchy, limp-wristed fucking quite literally pains in the ass. I think that's what they don't like. And you'd hate a fucking chick like that too. You'd hate a straight dude like that. I was waiting for the fucking PATH train the other day, and there's this chick there with her gay best friend, and he's talking in this fruity voice about how he's broke and his job doesn't pay enough, and he won't be able to afford her destination wedding. And then this motherfucker switches gears, and he says he wants to get an apartment in Hell's Kitchen before the end of the year. Bitch, how the fuck are you gonna go from fucking couch surfing to living on the West Side in 6 months? For those of you who live outside of the New York area, Hell's Kitchen is on the West Side of Manhattan, and it's like this hotbed of gay cock. It's just bistros and brunch spots and bars where gay dudes named Julian go to fucking grease up the buttholes of young teens coming in from Ohio for their first time, looking to score their first New York City dicks. But the rent over there goes for a 1-bedroom has to be close to $2,000 a month. You're not going from couch surfing to Hell's Kitchen in less than the end of February now. In 10 months, you're gonna go from couch surfing to fucking the West Side. Get the fuck out of here. He was such an over-the-top drama queen gay, too. Oh, I have to live in Hell's Kitchen. It's like my dream. Christ. Fuck. He was obviously a younger millennial, which only added to his self-righteousness and my frustration. I really just wanted to see him get his jacket sleeve caught in the train door and get dragged through the fucking tunnel. Like the train was committing the fucking hate crime. Ugh. Jesus. Now I sound like a bigot now just because this guy was an annoying motherfucker. What an incredibly annoying human being. I get it, you watch girls and think your 20s are supposed to be some sort of cathartic, legendary experience, even though you're doing the exact same shit as everyone else. And I get Hell's Kitchen is crawling with big meaty dicks. But you know what? And this is the other point of frustration, he was living in my town. I live in Jersey City, which, by the way, has one of the biggest gay populations in the fucking state of New Jersey, and it's only a fucking PATH ride away. It's a fucking PATH ride away, mate. And the rent in Jersey City is nothing. The rent in Hell's Kitchen is through the fucking roof. So do the fucking math, Elton. Ugh, I don't know what I'm mad about. I just hate this fucking guy and his stupid friend who called, "You're like my favorite human ever." Her poor fucking fiance. He's got to socialize. This guy's going to be at all the wedding events, which are probably bad enough for the groom anyway. Oh, Jesus. Fuck. Okay, and our next caller, we got Chad here leaving a message. He's got some questions about the adult film industry, of which I am a reputed connoisseur. See if I can help my man out.
Hey, what's up, Mike? This is Chad, long-time masturbator, first-time caller. I love the show, and I just wanted to know who was in your Mount Rushmore of male porn stars. I love porn, and I just think that, male porn stars are like Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy. They don't get any credit for the production, but, without Patrick Stump, Fall Out Boy isn't Fall Out Boy. So I'm looking forward to your thoughts. Happy Wednesday, Mike.
All right, well, off the bat, I'm gonna go ahead and say my automatics are Ron Jeremy and John Holmes. First two on the mountain, Mount Gushmore, as we'll call it, are coming from the golden age of porn. RJ has been active since '79. A lot of people don't realize he's only 5'6", and he's got a porn level cock. Now I'm 5'7", and I don't have a porn level cock. All right, most guys my height do not meet the industry minimum 8 inches. So he's also, by the way, an absolute Iron Man. Over 2,000 films as an actor, nearly 300 as a director, and the awards are there too, right? Because I think when we're talking about a guy who has as much pop culture significance as Ron Jeremy, that can become a distraction, right? People are going to say, well, he's a pop culture icon, he belongs on Mount Gushmore, and that's just not true. You don't get there by being a pop culture icon, all right? These guys on Mount Gushmore are going to be the 4 most important male porn stars of all time. All right? So if you're going to be a pop culture crossover, that's fine. But you still have to be able to perform as an actor and a director. Okay? That's what sets Ron Jeremy aside. Right? He's got the awards. He's not just a compiler. Okay, he didn't make thousands of films without making an impact, right? These weren't thousands of flops. Right? Look at this. This resume is absurd. He's an AFFAA Best Supporting Actor 2 years in a row. Then 2 AVN awards for Best Supporting Actor. He's got the hardware, he's got the numbers, he's got the dick, and the pop culture transition is let's call it what it is. It's gravy. For a guy like Ron Jeremy, the crossover works. He could just get it done under any conditions too, right? He does the young starlet in Debbie Does Dallas 2 or Wanda Whips Wall Street. Anyone can do that. Right, anyone can play when it's 80 and sunny, but the next scene you watch, he's at the senior center and he's going to town in 87 and still banging. So Ron Jeremy has to be, he's got to be on that mountain. He is the first face on Mount Gushmore. I arguably you could say Ron Jeremy is the male face of pornography. Probably the most recognizable. Ron Jeremy, number 1. Next up, I'm going to put John Holmes up there. Again, nearly 3,000 films in his career. He has the versatility to work with both men and women, which, look, for as great as some of the dicks in the current porn game are today, a lot of guys just don't exhibit that kind of versatility anymore. Most guys these days aren't even breaking out of a subgenre. Right? There are guys out there who they got great penises, not of the Johnny Wad level, but they're out there. They're not doing anything more than say a MILF POV or a slam van. All right, they're specialists. They are not across the board play. They're not multi-tool threats. They don't make those anymore. All right. And then you talk about the penis. John Holmes, one of the most prolific penises in the history of the game. Some people say it might have been over 13 inches. It was insured by Lloyd's of London. How many cocks in the history of the world have been insured by Lloyd's of London? He's also been in some of the most prolific movies, Deep Throat, The Devil and Miss Jones. They say Bob Voss once called him the Elvis Presley of the adult film industry. And look, I know people, they're going to get on me. They're going to say, he's got kind of a tarnished past. What about the crime? And I'm going to be 100% honest. This is the adult film industry we're talking about. That only adds to his legend. When your life becomes the basis for the movie Boogie Nights, you go on Mount Gushmore. All right? This isn't about doing good deeds. We're not nominating this man for sainthood. John Holmes is not going to be Pope. He's dead. He can't. And he's had gay sex, which, actually, I guess then if he was still alive, he'd be a perfect candidate. But look, we are talking about Mount Gushmore. This is about the best male porn stars in the history of the game. Now, if Holmes commits the crimes without the body of work, does he go up there? No, absolutely not. Then he's just a criminal with a big dick. But he's got the body of work to back it up. Okay? He is the first ever inductee to the X-Rated Critics Organization Hall of Fame. The XRCO Hall of Fame. And he has a Lifetime Achievement Award from XBiz. They don't just hand those out. Number 2 on Mount Gushmore, John Holmes, Johnny Wad. Okay, look, I got to number 3, and it wasn't an automatic. There are a lot of guys out there you got to start considering when you're down to 2 spots. You got to think of Mr. Marcus. You got to think of the MILF Hunter. I know he's a specialist, but he revolutionized the game. He was really one of the first ones doing the the pseudo-amateur public pickup genre that has just gone. I mean, everyone from Brazzers really across the board has him to thank. Brazzers, Her First Lesbian Sex, 8th Street Latinas. I mean, they would be nowhere without the MILF Hunter. But I couldn't because he was a specialist. Belongs in the hall, without a doubt. He's just not Gushmore. So then you start saying, you know, what about Rocco Cifaretti and what about, we said Mr. Marcus, and there are a few more. But the name that I think kept popping up when I was kind of looking back at the stats and at the awards, Peter North. You are not going to find a guy who crossed over inside the adult film game like the Sperminator Peter North. He starts off doing gay porn and manages to star in one of AVN's 10 great gay movies. The bigger, the better. That's before transitioning to straight porn. So he had his credentials were being built when he was still bottoming. That's impressive stuff. You don't see that anymore. Right? No one wants to go the gay before straight route in the porn industry anymore. And you don't have to. You can't blame them. You don't have to anymore. You no longer have to suck dick on camera to make money fucking pussy on camera. That trope, that is so old. That's for dinosaurs. That's your grandfather's porn. Not anymore. You don't have to do it anymore. Peter North did it and he crossed over. He was one of the greats on the gay. You talk to the gays, they'll tell you Peter North, the Sperminator, can't get enough. So again, a guy who makes a name as a straight porn star, but manages to dominate the game as a gay porn star, appearing both as a top and a bottom. You just don't see that kind of versatility anymore. All right. He wasn't doing a quick POV with a girl that he hired on Craigslist and then throwing it up online and calling it a day. All right, he was out there, he was taking dicks, he was giving dicks, and then he transitions to straight porn. And the numbers are there too. Over 2,500 films, but not a compiler. He's got an AVN award for Gluteus to the Maximus. He's won fan favorite awards. And I know there's the Tracy Lords controversy. Everyone's saying to me, Mike, how can you put this guy on Gushmore? He slept with an underage star. But again, it's the era. You have to consider the era that a guy performed in, and people back then didn't know. You couldn't just look someone up online. It was the 80s. If a girl said she was 18 and she was starring in a film with you, you assumed that someone had done their homework. You have to consider the era that a guy came up in. And when you consider that and the body of work and the awards and the fact that he was a switch hitter, Peter North is going on Mount Gushmore. The Sperminator. It wouldn't be Gushmore without the Sperminator. Okay. Moving on. Some people they're gonna call this a diversity pick. You know that's what they're gonna say. They're going to say there are guys you left out. You left out Evan Stone, whoever else, and you went with the diversity pick. That's not what this is about. All right, the final spot I am giving on Mount Gushmore is going to Lexington Steele. All right, this guy crossed over from the world of New York City finance to star in over 1,000 films. That is the dream. Every guy jocking a desk out there right now who's cruising Pornhub or Xvideos while they're on the shitter or on their lunch break is saying, you know what? If I could get paid to have sex for hours and hours with a group of nubile teens with fake tits and loose buttholes, and then enjoy a full craft services buffet. Oh, and by the way, cocaine and Viagra are available on set. Do you know how many guys would say I would leave my finance job to do that? And then he goes on to he didn't just cross over and kind of call it a day and have a middling career, all right? He goes on to stack up a list of awards as an actor and a director that is borderline insurmountable, all right? He's in the AVN Hall of Fame, a 2-time AVN Male Performer of the Year. He's got AVN awards for the best anal sex scene. He got one for Whack Attack 6 in 2000, Babes in Pornland in 2003, and Steel XXX 3 in 2005. All right, and that's before you get to the AFW awards, the XRCO awards, the Urban Spice awards. I mean, the guy is a walking trophy case. That's it. End of story. You're not convincing me that Lexington Steel doesn't belong up there. Lexington Steel, welcome to Mount Gushmore. Congratulations. Now, you can make the argument that Rocco Siffredi or Tommy Gunn or Evan Stone belong on Mount Gushmore. And believe me, Pirates is one of my favorite films of all time. It is an erotic masterpiece, and it's also cinematically spectacular. Those guys just aren't there yet. And they're getting there. If Gushmore ever expands, you can find Evan Stone's square jaw being chiseled into it along with the other greats, but he's not there yet, all right? You aren't hearing a lot of guys at the water cooler on Tuesday morning saying, hey, did you catch that new Evan Stone video that came out last night? All right, it's not his fault necessarily. Blame the era. These guys are competing against more guys. You can produce a film in the privacy of your own home and load it to RedTube in an afternoon now. There's a lot of white noise. There's a watering down of the industry. But look, to get on Mount Gushmore, you got to stand out. You got to make the kind of impact that won't be forgotten. And right now, you just aren't seeing that out of some of these guys. I think Stone and Gunn have the best chance. Rocco Siffredi, an all-time great in my opinion, may wind up being forgotten just because his time was just before the digital age. Right? If you weren't on the silver screen like Ron Jeremy and John Holmes, and if you don't have a pervasive online presence like Gunn and Stone, then you kind of run the risk of being forgotten. If fair or not, right? That's the way it goes. It doesn't discredit his career. He just isn't a water cooler name. All right, no one is talking about Rocco Siffredi at cocktail parties. Unfortunate, but look, that's the game. So there it is. That is my my top 4, my Mount Rushmore of porn, my Mount Gushmore. All right.
And this final message comes from an anonymous caller. I'm not sure if there's something wrong with his larynx or if he used some sort of voice modulation software to cover his tracks and remain anonymous. But as always, we respect anonymity here because it's the internet and people get in absurd amounts of trouble for ridiculous things because society sucks. So let's see what he had an interesting question, or a statement really, not so much a question, but it prompted me to do some thinking, and let's get to the bottom of this because this is actually relevant to what we were just talking about before with Mr. Yiannopoulos, but in this case, it involves... This is actually pertinent to what we were talking about before with Mr. Yiannopoulos, so I think this is a good one to wrap up on for today.
Hello, I have vital information. That's led from this information I have sent you to everybody around you. This information should have came out. Hello, this is anonymous. I'm back. Read what I sent. Bitch should not be walking their daughters on. They might be given digital.
Cryptic stuff. He is referencing, I believe, an incident that took place when I was in high school. We arrived at school on the day of the big track meet, purely by coincidence, to be honest. A track meet was happened to be going on, but since I'm fucking obsessed with 90s teen movies, and there was always some kind of big event, I figured I'd throw that in. You gotta have, whenever there's a high school thing going on, you need a big event, right? I think that's part of the reason that kids these days suck so hard, right? There are no more good teen movies coming out. All they have is this high school musical shit and that things featuring that fucking douche, what's his name, with the abs, Zac Efron. Fuck off, fucking home. Anyway, We arrived at school on the day of the big track meet to find that our athletic trainer had been arrested for banging one of the students. And here's where things take a fun turn. Both the trainer and student were chicks. Chicks who looked like they walked in off of the LPGA tour. Precise. And that's being kind of generous. And it turns out they'd been doing the deed for a little while, with all the usual trappings of a late 90s, early 2000s teacher-teen relationship. The AIMing, so the records of all the convos were there, and the victim was on the soccer team. I mean, the whole thing was just straight out of, Joey Botafuco's playbook. I guess they were doing it, they were meeting up to do it in cars, which that is apparently a big thing among the casual lesbian sex community. After this episode's over, I would urge you to do yourself a favor and go on Craigslist Casual Encounters. Check out the Women for Women section. It is crawling with chicks looking to get weird in parked cars. I shit you not. They call it car play. Anyway, I go in there all the time because it's a great play. If you don't want to check it out to confirm my tales of lesbian car play, go in there and check it out for the free amateur pics, because you will find massive amounts of free tits and butts and vaginas to look at. Some of them quite nice, others not so much. Anyway, what was I going to say? Anyway, oh yeah, that's right. Anyway, as with all of these things, I don't think this shit should be illegal. The chick was 15 at the time, which is plenty. 15, or she might have even been 16 is the age of consent. She must have been fucking 15. Anyway, that's plenty old to know if you want to fuck someone. And if she's a lesbian, we talk about this with the Milo stuff. It's not like there was a very big dyke population at old Glen Rock High School, right? So this was before things like Facebook and MySpace really took off. So this girl otherwise would have had to go into a chat room and meet some creep online who was probably just a dude looking to molest or kidnap her. And you figure you got to get those first licks in before you go off to college, because then you're in the fucking big leagues and you're competing for pussy against seasoned lesbians. Like, you might get a couple, like, orientation week dorm room romps in with the other labia lickers on your floor, but eventually you're going up against seasoned lesbians who might own strap-ons or double-enders, all sorts of vibrators and toys. They know how to work a clit like a fucking champion. That they get into scissoring and all sorts of great advanced technique lesbian stuff that rookies just haven't had time to add to their route tree. So as I see it, the trainer actually did this girl a favor, right? She prepared her for college. She was doing a pubic or a public service.
That's it for this week. Remember, I'm on Twitter at Mike Montone. We are on Facebook, www.facebook.com/The Savage Crew. And on Instagram, just search the page The Savage Crew and click on Patrick Bateman's face, and I will get you that voicemail number one more time. 1 second. Here it is. That number, if you'd like to call it, 201-632-1372. We'd love to hear from you. Call in. Like I said, you can feel free to keep it anonymous. Say whatever you want. This is a safe space for free expression. Do whatever. Tell me to go fuck myself. I don't care. Unload, and we'll answer and discuss and dissect the call during the next episode of the Sacktap. Thanks. Catch you guys next time.